crazy things are happening in South Africa, yo. I'm telling you guys, man. It's madness going on. It's madness going on. You know what I mean? Madness going on. They are clearly sabotaging Julius Malema. And it's as clear as day. There's not that many African people voting for DA. I refuse to believe that. I can take the Indians voting for them. I can take the colored people voting for them. The thing about it, it's just no African people voting for them. They clearly saw these people burn the flag. Do you understand? They burned the flag. So something else is going on, man. They saw how important Julius Malema is. They saw how much movement he's making. They saw how he wanted to unite Africa, and they're sabotaging him. They're sabotaging him. It's a clear sabotage. The video of the EFF officials that they've shown at the electorate, where it was clearly erased. The top number was clearly erased. It could have been 956, it could have been 856, it could have been 756, it could have been 656, it could have been 556, but they erased the first number and they left the vote to be 56. Now they're asking the question, how many more of this is happening? How many more of this erasure is happening in the votes? How many more? Because they've been stuck at a singular number for so long, and the DA is just growing. How is the DA getting all those numbers? How? On what planet do they have those numbers? They have clearly stated to the South African people that they're not for them. They're clearly an extension of the apartheid government before. You had that lady go on there and said, if we don't win, we're going to crash the economy, we're going to crash the rand. And the interviewer was kind of asking her to expand on it, but she kind of, didn't say anything anymore, just sort of changed the subject. I refuse to believe South Africans are dumb. They're not dumb. Nah. Something else is going on. From the moment I saw the video that showed the ratio of that number, I was like, oh my God. They're doing it throughout the country. They had to stop Julius Malema. They had to sabotage him. It's very clear they had to. Everyone said, oh, it's because of the open border. No, it's not because of the open border. The greatest thing most of the elite white people, most white people are afraid of, is the land that it keeps speaking on. It's the land. It's the land. Taking back the land that was stolen from the black original South Africans. That's why they had to do that. And on top of that, he was saying that he wanted to take the mines and the industry away from the private hands that have been controlling their country. He wants to remove the tenders so that they can easily just start rebuilding the schools and all of the other things. Because South Africa is working on the basis of private, of just the private companies running things. There's some of their jails that are run by private companies. You know what I'm saying to you? You wanted to take that away from them and have the government run those things so they can control the destiny and the economic destiny of South Africans. Because the DA lady would not say, we're going to crash the rand, without just saying that, because she knows they control the economy of South Africa. So Julius Malema, being the guy that's saying we need that land back, we need to now start taking control of all of the mines, that is why they had to sabotage it. That's why some big money has been put behind this erasure, because there's no way that EFF in the last election they did well, and then you're telling them that they're only holding 9%. Something is wrong, man. Something is wrong. Something is off. They're sabotaging, my man. They're sabotaging it. But I tell you, the most thing that I'm much more afraid of is just that the land, the unity, and the land, especially the land, and taking back those industries and having the government control those industries. That's what they're afraid of, because that's where the money is. That's how the minority elite wealthy whites have lived. That's how they created their own communities. You know, like you could be in South Africa, across the river, you see the white people living there, they're living well. And on the other side, you see the colored and the black people is underdeveloped. That's by choice. They decided that. It was a system that was built. They want to maintain status quo, and that's why they had to sabotage my man. And now we're just sitting here just looking like, what the heck is going on? Do you know what I mean? What the heck is going on? You know? I don't know where we go from here. I don't know where South Africa goes from here. But I have to tell you one thing though. The establishment that is linked to the West have been fighting back in the last couple of weeks, at least the last 2 months. The Sahel kings and some of the other kings that are speaking, taking away the resources away from French, has got the Western government shook. Because why they look down on Africa? Africa has been their bread and butter for the last 300 years. First it was slaves, now it's the raw materials. It's the coltan, it's the diamonds, it's the gold, it's the palladium. You know? That's where the bread and butter is. Forget all about this stuff, oh we are a good servicing company. No. It's those resources that powers them. African resources powers a lot of Europe. Someone said France is nothing without Africa and its resources. And that's so true. That's so true. That's why when the Sahel kings, Traore, Tiani, and the other gentlemen started to take back their resources, that has affected the French pocket in a huge way. That's why they've attempted to kill that king 9 times. 9 times. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So everything that's happening now is just it just shows me that Julius Malema, being the guy that spoke about uniting Africa, being the guy that spoke about one currency, that's their worst nightmare. That's their worst nightmare. Africa uniting? That's their worst. They wrote books to make sure this didn't happen. They made movies to make sure this didn't happen. They had media pull in propaganda to make sure this did not happen. That would never happen. But it will happen. They created xenophobia because they wanted this not to happen. That's what's really going on. You understand what I'm saying to you? There's no way they had that much power in there, man. There's no way. They literally spat in the faces of black South Africans. They burned their flag in their ads. They never apologized for that. And you telling me South Africans went there and lined up and voted for them? Nah. Stop the cap. I call cap. Personally, I call cap. Do you know what I mean? I call cap. I call cap. You understand? Something is going on, man. Something is going on. They had to get him out. They had to try to do something, you know. So now all of this little erasing numbers, trying to rewrite numbers, that's how they collected those votes and gave them to the DA. In the townships, that people already know, they're not messing with these people. They paid a huge price, man. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this. I'm shocked. Uh, we were all excited and still is excited um, about the idea of unifying Africa, the idea of a single currency, the idea of a single army, so that a lot of us are in places, so that Africa can get back on its feet. And Malema was the one person that was blatant enough to have spoken about that since Mohammed Gaddafi, since Kwame Nkrumah. No government, no leader will have the balls to say that, because they either get executed or they get voted out. In this case, hence why they had to have those voter frauds happening to reduce the votes of the EFF. That's exactly what's happening, guys. Let's not even try to, let's not even lie to ourselves. It's exactly what's happening. You know, it's exactly what's happening. And the ANC guys are just, they go where the money resides. If the white people give them money, they take it. If the Russians give them money, they take it. Whoever brings money, they go. So they're not really for their people after, for a very long time, and everyone knows that. But the idea, people are very nostalgic about the idea of the ANC, how the ANC started, what it represented, the end of apartheid, the fight for the freedoms of the black South Africans, who are the originals of that land. A lot of people are nostalgic about them without not looking at them with new eyes, based on achievements. What have they achieved? Because you have to understand, once that deal was signed, when the great Madiba left jail, that deal has put in a shackle on the economic freedom of a lot of South African people. Because they never did what they were supposed to do. They never took back the land that was theirs. They never took back the resources that was theirs. They said, we will stop killing you, but you have to leave the resources and the economic side alone. And they took it. So South Africa has been in this mess for the last 30 years. So, I don't know what's going to happen. I believe 73% of the votes have been counted. And they're still trying to tell me that DA is second. Lie. That's a lie. Someone has stolen those votes for them. The white power structure is at work. All they have to do is drop some big bags on some of these, people living in terrible situations, and they go do stuff for them. So it's clear to me that some things are going on, man. It's not a very, very happy day. It's not something I'm excited about. But it's an happy day because, freedoms will happen. It will happen eventually, man. The universal laws tells me African freedom will happen. The freedom of the South African people will happen. You can't continue to do this evil on top of the people that own the land, and you get away with it. How it's going to happen, I have no clue. But universal laws tells me, and in the age that we're in, tells me. But when that happens, I do not know, and that can be frustrating. But things are very, they're interesting when they're moving on divine timing, because it's never on our human time. You understand? So, I see exactly what's going on here, man. I see the fraudulent situation that's happening, and it's sad to see, man. It's sad to see. I thought they will probably have done unlocked. They would have had checks and balances. Um, that's what I was thinking would happen, but it's not happened. But it will happen in due time. But so, what happens next? Can EFF take this thing to court? Probably. But this is exactly what I was saying on my TikTok. Make sure you check out my TikTok. LILJOESADIPE. I say, like, this is exactly how it happened in Nigeria. Everyone in Nigeria knew they voted. The young generation that holds 70% of Nigeria voted for Peter Obi. But the people outside of Africa would prefer the current president because he bows to them. He goes where the money resides. So they put him in. They took the vote. They didn't count the votes at the polls, at the electorate, the actual place people were voting. They took it all the way to the capital, where no one can see, no one can observe, and they chose those votes. And they had officials from outside of Africa come and look over the votes. The people that violated every democracy when it comes democracy and human rights, when it comes to Africa, when it comes to Nigeria, they were saying they're the ones that were looking over the votes. So they did what they had to do. They did what their slave masters told them to do. And they put that man there. And this is exactly what is happening. People are afraid of Julius Malema, man. They had to be fraudulent. They had to be fraudulent. They had to steal. They had to erase the votes. They just had to. Because they cannot allow freedom of or a united Africa to happen, because that's exactly what Julius Malema was speaking on. A single currency, a single army. That scared a lot of people in power. And most importantly, taking back the mind. Taking it away from the private hands, and the most important as well, taking back the land that was stolen from the children of the soil in South Africa. So they had to. How this gonna happen now, I don't know. I have no idea where this thing goes forward to. This election might be dragged out for another year with courts and stuff of that nature. And that's a sad part. In the laws that they kind of created, in the system they kind of created, so they can maneuver and lie about it because they created those systems. Yeah, this is a recipe for war. We have to be honest. It really is. Because a lot of countries are done. They're done with just being slaves. A lot of countries are done being slaves for the West, man. They're like, we're done. Leave us the heck alone. You understand? They're done. I don't know what it is, but Africa will keep moving forward, and we'll keep praying for better. And I think it's going to happen soon. United Africa is going to happen sooner than later. And how it's going to happen, we have no clue, but it's going to happen. We just have to be patient. But before that, the impatience is going to cause some fighting. And people are going to have to fight for their rights. Africa is going to have to fight to unite, because it's not going to be given. We have to claw and fight our way to this. This is what this is given. So we have a big fight ahead of us, man. We're all open on South Africa doing this thing, but the powers that be have manipulated a situation, so this is where we are. I just wanted to jump in here and say that anyway, but I'm gonna make a couple of videos later on. Make sure you join my TikTok, LILJOESADIPE, and make sure you subscribe on this channel, follow this channel. I'm going to be making a couple of more videos on this topic and a few other topics. Make sure you do a follow. I truly appreciate it. So and make sure you like, subscribe, share, so we can have this conversation, man. Because we're all we've got. Make no mistake, we are all we've got. Peace and love. Bye, guys.